peace be upon you. I wanted to make a short video about the prayer, Salah in Arabic, which means connection. Now, many people believe that prayer, people who are born within a Muslim culture but never practiced Islam, the ones who refer themselves as non-practicing Muslims, which is a misnomer. It's illogical. It's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction. Muslim is taken from the root word, which means, submission, Islam, right? Muslim is a verb. The Muslim is the one who submits his will to Almighty God, to the God, to Allah alone, without any associates. So this is who a Muslim is. There's the definition of a Muslim. If somebody is told to obey his parents, but every time he sees his parents, he spits at their faces. He doesn't obey them. He curses them. He abuses them. He calls them names. He backbites them. He mouths off to them. He says the worst to them. Can you refer to this individual as obedient? Of course not, right? So how is it that when we talk about a Muslim, somebody who is supposed to submit his will to Allah, and he does not do the minimum requirements, the 5 daily prayers, the basis of anybody's faith, of anybody's Islam. Your faith, what is it? What does it consist of? If you don't pray your 5 daily prayers, why are you calling yourself a Muslim? Just call yourself a non-Muslim. Be just to yourself. Be honest with yourself. This is an act of apostasy, my brothers and my sisters. This is an act of apostasy in Arabic. Rida. Apostasy. The one who doesn't pray has apostatized from his religion, has left the religion. One prayer, my brothers and my sisters, and I'm addressing a Muslim audience here, right? And I'm sorry if I'm getting a little bit heated, right? If I'm getting a little bit emotional. But this is serious, my brothers and my sisters. This is so serious. One prayer you leave, according to a big number of scholars, has disbelieved in his Lord. Has what? Has disbelieved. Has committed an act of disbelief. Kufr. Infidelity. Even if it is one single prayer. Remember, the devil, Satan, Shaitan, left one prayer. And he became of the disbelievers. He became an infidel. He became a kafir. He became a disbeliever by him leaving off one prayer. One single prayer. And that's it. He was known as a disbeliever. And he's bound to hell forever. In the prophetic way, the sunnah, the prophetic way, we learned that the Prophet told us, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He informed us that the one who leaves off one prayer, has disbelieved. The one afternoon, Asr, prayer that he leaves off. We're told that the person who leaves the afternoon prayer, the evening prayer, all of his good deeds are nullified. All of his good deeds are nullified. Fasting, spending from your wealth, giving charity, being good, being obedient to your parents, being good to your neighbors, all of these are big zero. Zeros. They mean nothing. Like scattered dust. If you don't pray your prayer. If you refuse to submit yourself to the only one worthy of worship, you have disbelieved. You have disbelieved. Why am I getting angry? I'm not getting angry. I'm getting passionate because this is important. How is it that when you tell people who call themselves Muslims to pray, they act like you've just insulted them? Why is it that they act insulted when you tell them to pray? When you tell them to pray their prayer, they act insulted. Why? I'd like to know. I want to know. Don't they fear insulting Allah, which is exactly the thing that they're doing? When they're refusing to pray, they're insulting Allah. Of course, Oh, nothing is taken from Allah. May He be exalted and praised. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. May He be exalted and praised. Nothing gets diminished from His kingdom. And if you pray, nothing increases His kingdom, His dominion, right? His power, nothing. The prayer is for you. But if you don't do your job as Muslim, what do you think is going to happen to you on the Day of Judgment? You know that according to the majority of the scholars, leaving of the prayer is seen as an act of apostasy that carries, again, in an Islamic country, not anywhere else, only in a Muslim country that is ruled by the divine law, Sharia, the pathway, with a court system, with prison, with legal, a legal judicial process, everything is in place. If the person is given all the chances, is told to pray, but is hell-bent on refusing to pray, guess what? The punishment is death, execution. Again, only by the Muslim ruler, not by anybody else. But this is how I'm telling you this so that you understand the seriousness of living of the prayer, how bad it is, how wrong. And we should hate this in our hearts. Like a sheikh said, like a scholar said, I believe it was Uthman Khamis, may Allah bless him, right? He said that how come that if somebody commits fornication, people hate him? People would hate a fornicator at gatherings. People would, see to get rid of him, right? They would tell him, go away from here, you're filthy. If somebody drinks intoxicants, he's hated in society, in a Muslim society, right? How come the one who doesn't pray is loved? It's not logical. Leaving of the prayer is worse than all the major sins combined. This is an act of disbelief. This is an act of disbelief. And this is, an act of treason in Islam. The Prophet said, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the covenant between us and them is the prayer, and whosoever leaves it has disbelieved. Aladhi bainana wa bainahum as-salah, faman tarakaha fakat kafara. The dividing line, the covenant, the pledge between us and them, who is us, the Muslims, and them, the non-Muslims, the disbelievers, is the prayer, is the connection, is salah. And whosoever leaves it has disbelieved. What does it mean? There's no difference. There is no difference between you and a disbeliever if you don't pray. So you're still going to go around and say, it's okay not to pray? And when you're told to pray, in our community, people who call themselves Muslims, who take oaths by Allah, who act like they're people of knowledge, right? Of religion, of knowledge, hilm, and religion, way, deen, way. When you tell them pray, they act, as if they are a little offended. You don't have to feel offended. You're insulting Allah day after day when you refuse to pray. Who gives you provision? How is it that people come up with these dumb excuses? Like, I have to go to work. I have to work. I have to provide for my family. Buddy, who's providing for you day after day? Your boss? Your employer? He'd have you fired on the spot. If you didn't do something good, if you didn't do a good job, you'd be fired, right? You could be fired. And look, you insult Allah every day, and He gives you oxygen to breathe. He gives you food. He gives you drink. Allah is the provider. One of His names, one of His most beautiful names, is the sole provider, Ar-Razaq. And that provision, rizq in Arabic, provision, is from Him, from none other than Him. Your boss doesn't give you oxygen to breathe. Your boss doesn't give you air to breathe. Your boss doesn't give you food. Your boss doesn't provide for you. Your boss doesn't care about you. No, simply put, the only reason why you're in that company and that whatever it is you're working in is because you're doing a good job. But guess what? They say that people are expendable, right? If you don't do a good job, if you show up late, if you start offending your boss, if you say something that your boss doesn't like, you'd be fired. How come people are willing to submit themselves to a human being, but when it comes to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, they refuse. They say we don't have the time. I have better things to do with my life. I seek forgiveness in Allah. Astaghfirullah. I seek forgiveness in Allah. What is your life? What is your life? Who gives you life? Who is the giver of life and who is the giver of death? None other than Allah. The one only, the God. So why are you doing this? Why is it that you leave the prayer and you think this is not a small deal? This is worse than all the major sins combined. As I told you, the one who consumes intoxicants, good or bad, bad. The one who fornicates, the one who backbites, the one who lies, all these are bad. Leaving off the prayer, guess what is worse than that? It's worse than that. So my brothers and sisters, and I'm talking in general terms here because I don't consider these people as Muslims. Not because I said so, but because the words of our Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are crystal clear. The words of Allah are very clear. He hasn't believed, nor has he prayed. He hasn't prayed, nor has he believed. Something, may Allah forgive me from error. I'm just paraphrasing. But the verses are very clear. The devil refused to prostrate and he became of the disbelievers. The consensus of the scholars on the person who doesn't pray is very clear. Even though there might be a slight disagreement here and there, but the evidence, when we look at the evidence, because we're people, if we call ourselves people of Quran and prophetic way, Sunnah, we have to take it back to Allah and His Messenger. And the evidence that the one who doesn't pray, being a disbeliever, is overwhelming. So my brothers and sisters, you choose. Again, this is just a reminder. A heated reminder nonetheless, but a reminder. Please, don't become fuel of the fire in the life hereafter, on the day of judgment. And this is a reminder to myself as well. You think I'm perfect? God forbid. Make mistakes every time. But when you pray, you're able to ask forgiveness of Allah. And you're doing the best act of worship. Prayer is worship. Worship, habada in Arabic, which means worship. Worship, the best act of worship you can do. And my brothers and sisters, the month of Ramadan, the fasting month is right around the corner. Are you going to still keep on deluding yourselves, those who don't pray? Oh, non-Muslims, oh, disbelievers, oh, non-practicing Muslims, whatever. You're going to still keep lying to yourselves, sorry. Are you going to keep lying to yourselves or not? If you don't pray, fasting is of no benefit to you. Because Allah said so. In the Quran very clearly, in many places, we have an authentic narration, a report, a hadith, which says that the one who doesn't desist from false speech, Allah does not need him to give up his food and drink. I believe, I'm paraphrasing, may Allah forgive me from error. But my brothers and sisters, according to the majority of the scholars, one scholar was asked about the one who fasts but doesn't pray. It doesn't even make any sense. Who are you fasting for? Are you on a diet or something? If you don't pray, then what kind of a fasting is this to begin with? Leaving up the fasting is a major sin. Leaving up the prayer is disbelief. And you would rather, this is not logical. It's like somebody going out, wearing his socks, but not his shoes. It doesn't make sense. What do you need socks for if you don't have shoes? You understand me? The socks are going to get dirty. The socks are going to get soiled. The socks are going to get torn, right? You need shoes. Very strong, material on the ground so that you don't hurt your feet. But when you don't pray, you fast and you don't pray, this is exactly the same thing. It's as if you don't lace up your shoes and just walk out the door. You fool, lace up your shoes. Pray. Oh, fools. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm actually quite inviting here. I'm giving you invitation. I'm giving you calling. Dawah. Calling. But sometimes some harsh reminders are needed. And this is a reminder to myself as well. If we leave off the prayer, we become disbelievers. May Allah protect us. We become infidels. We become kuffar. We become infidels. The ones who don't pray are infidels. The ones who don't pray are kuffar. The ones who don't pray are disbelievers. So please, let us remember that. And peace be with you. And I'll be doing another video soon, God willing, about this issue of not praying, which is very serious. And that's not befitting of any person who calls themselves Muslims, right? A Muslim. Of anybody who calls himself a Muslim, right? So please, take heed to this advice. May the peace of God be with you. And, may God keep you steadfast. May Allah, the God, keep us steadfast in our prayers. Amen. And also, since the fasting month is approaching, let's take this as an opportunity to change our ways before it's too late and to make this best fasting we can do. Can you believe it? It feels like yesterday that we were fasting and he's back again here. Allah is free from imperfection. Subhanallah. Peace be with you.